Right, so Sally, who you just heard there, excuse me, is the founder of something called she's the chair of W for Youth. W for Youth in Chiswick provides a safe space for children from all social and ethnic backgrounds, and it works to improve their health, well-being and social cohesion by engaging them in sports they love, particularly football. We're doing a lot on getting young people together today. Sally is here. Chacatte?
Chacatté.
Chacatte. I'm way off there. Chacatté. Where's that name from?
France originally.
Chacatté.
Yeah. So
does it
my
mean
husband's
something?
Not my name.
It's your husband's name?
Yeah, so Chacatté, French origin.
Ella's there saying, we did 100 weddings this week, and Ella's there saying, I'm not taking any man's name. I said, nobody's asked you.
I've been married a long time.
Thanks for coming in. I mean, we're going to have one of those, don't we? I can already tell it's going to be one of those. But I get the feeling that you've listened to the show. I get the feeling you understand a bit about what we're trying to do. It's to get people's stories out. But I know, excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold, but personally, I know some of these stories are so overwhelmingly negative that we try to find a positive into it. I don't want to listen to anything miserable, but we're going to start with the darkness. Is that all right with you?
Okay, well, first of all, thanks for having me on the show. I'm really honoured to be here. So I was telling one of my coaches, as I told you earlier, that I was coming on the Eddie Nestor show, and he got so excited because he's, somebody who's a great fan of yours. So thank you for inviting me on.
He's a fool. You'll be able to go back and tell him the truth.
I can tell him.
Right, so tell me about your son.
Okay, so my son is now a nearly 29-year-old man, incredibly proud of him, good family man and a really wonderful human being in our society. But when he was 13 and he was on his way from school one night to go to football training, he went to pick his friend's football kit up at his house and effectively got shot in the face by a gang. We live in West London. Everybody thinks it's leafy West London, but he got shot in the face by a gang, and I got a phone call. I was at work and somebody phoned me once, phoned me twice. The third time I picked it up and there's this woman screaming, his son's been shot in the face, it's really bad, come quick. And I will never forget the terror that spread through my body, as anybody can imagine. And when I got to him at the hospital, he was in A&E, and my lofty, sporty sort of 13-year-old was there with a face the size of a football. The shot had gone all the way through his cheek and lodged just below his ear. We were told he was so lucky it didn't hit his eye or his temple, and the operation he had the next day, we were told he could lose the facial movement in his right-hand side of his face. But thank goodness none of that happened, and we were very lucky in comparison to so many others. But what happened was a few months later, we were away, and I mean, as you can imagine, we were so fearful. We were devastated. We were just so fearful of what was going to happen next. And that was the thing, because he literally was over the road from where this gang was based. So we were really fearful the whole time. And we were away, and he said to me, Mum, do you know what we need to do? We need to start a youth club. We need to get kids like me, and he had a massively diverse group of friends from every part of the community. So we need to get kids like me, and we need to get kids like the kids who did this to me, the young people who did this to me. Because if they'd had something like that, maybe they wouldn't have done what they did to me. And that's where W4 Youth started.
Sounds like a fantastic human being. Sounds like I should be talking to him and not you.
He is a fantastic human being. He's incredibly modest, and he doesn't talk about this.
Is he not talk about it because of the pain?
I think so, and I know he's listening, and I'm going to get choked up now. But I know he's listening. I've just messaged the family and said, I'm doing this for you, Ollie. And he came back and said, love you so much, but he doesn't talk about it. I think it is the pain, but he watches what's come out of this, and he's so proud that actually the pain that he has, that is there, I think is overwhelmed by the pride he has of what we do. We've had hundreds of young people coming through our doors.
I know you want to get onto the safe territory. I promise I'll let you do it. But just for a minute.
Yeah.
How did it change you?
Oh, well, it made me realise that this stuff can happen to anyone. And everybody thinks that when these things happen, that actually it happens to someone else. And it's like because they're bad kids or they know bad kids, but it can happen to anyone. anyone anywhere can be affected by troubled young people. And I don't call them gangs because they're troubled young people. And I don't believe that anybody's a bad person. People are just suffering from bad experiences in life, and so they potentially do bad things. You're going back onto
that safe territory. I promise you, I've got you.
Okay.
But it's also important for us to understand your family dynamic, how it changed. Okay, so let me just help you to understand. I know that I've got a problem. I've got a 15-year-old child. He is a brown belt, third Dan. He's the most sporty, articulate. Well, he doesn't when he talks. And I understand. When I say articulate, I mean I know what he means now. But he wants to go to box. Another mate of mine, James Cook, does a thing in Hackney, and he's a former champion boxer. And I won't let him go. I won't let him get on the bus, and I won't let him go because I'm scared.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, but I'm only telling you that I empathise. I understand. You have lived through what my fear is, but I know I have to let him go, and I haven't. So let me ask you again. You're 13-year-old, this happens, you get the call. Do you make... What's the trip like to the hospital?
I can't remember it. One of my colleagues came with me and I can't really remember it. All I know is that I was so fearful that I was in a state of panic, I suppose trauma. And yeah, I can't really remember it. I remember being in a black cab and I remember her saying, "It's okay, I'm here for you, I'm here for you, I'm with you.
This is the cabbie?
No, the girl up for my work.
So on the phone, so you're on the phone?
No, she's next to me.
So she came right, so you get the call and you're going, oh my God, pick my bag up, whatever, and then somebody from work goes, I'll come with you.
Yeah.
You get the cab and you're in the back of the cab and she's trying to do that reassuring thing.
Yeah. So I'm phoning my husband, my husband saying, go down there now, because he was actually near where it happened. And I was in the West End, I was just down here. So I was like, just go to him. So he went down there, but by then, apparently there were police helicopters, there were police running everywhere and everything. And, you get there to the hospital, and I can't remember getting to hospital, basically. And then you get there and you see somebody who is your child in that situation, and you just feel the most incredible amount of love and fear and, how can this happen to us? And, how is this happening? But it can happen to anyone. And so what does it make you do? It makes you, first of all, I think you feel just scared and you go through that curve. Then you feel fearful and then you actually accept it's happened. And then, as I say, with what he said, we decided to do something good out of something bad.
Yeah, the reason I ask you to go through the place that isn't so secure is because I imagine there's a journey of emotions. Mm-hmm. You're at this place now where there's no such thing as a bad child. I don't call them gangs. But at the time, you must have been calling them little bleeps.
It was really funny at the time. And I've always been that sort of person who's like, I think that if we all give each other love and support and hold each other accountable, whether it be in your family, anywhere, then you bring out the best in people. Until
you shoot my child in the face.
Yeah, and I felt angry, and it was really interesting. Some people I knew were like, oh, do you want us to go and sort them out? And I was like, no, that's not going to help anything. That's not going to do anything good for anybody. No, I didn't.
You sure?
I know, I really didn't. I really felt that actually they needed help. I really thought they needed help, and it turned out that they ended up, they were a really bad bunch and they ended up in a really bad place. But the fact is that I really did from the very beginning, and maybe it's just me. I mean, I just thought these people need help.
Because us blokes, we're quite good at being angry, aren't we?
Ollie's dad, we're divorced, so Ollie's dad was furious.
I'm trying to work on that bit. Us guys are really good at being angry.
He wanted me to move his school. He wanted me to ask me about the area, and I was like, no.
Well, that's logical.
It's our life. I know it is. But,
but don't make him seem like he's unreasonable.
No.
What might have been that?
No.
My son got shot in the face. I don't want you to live here anymore. How about that?
Yeah.
No.
I get.
Is that unreasonable?
No, I think it's seeing it in a way that most people would see it, in terms of let's get out of here. And I think people do run away when they're fearful, and I get that. But actually, I could see that he didn't want to move school. I could see he didn't want to move house. So actually, by doing something good out of it, it actually was going to make a bigger impact than just running away.
I'm in full admiration of Ollie. If you're listening, mate, you are a great human being. Because I'd be scared. I'd be worried as Ollie and as a parent every time. I'm not meaning to upset you.
No.
It's impossible for me to do an interview with you without relating it to how I would feel.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if we do that, what we're doing here now, other people feel that, and we might get them to the place where we don't need to make interventions. We'll stop them before they carry guns or whatever. Let me take you somewhere else and ask you the question I think most people at home are wondering why I didn't ask. If I looked at Ollie now, would I be able to tell that Ollie was shot in the face?
No. He's got a scar. Could be a scar from anything. He's got a scar down here. But no, you wouldn't be able to tell, and he'd never talk to you about it. So,
and if I could tell, have you thought about how different life would be?
Interesting question. If you could tell that Ollie had been shot in the face...
Because there would be a continuous, manifest reminder of the worst day of your life.
Yeah. I think that he was very lucky that it went as it did in comparison to others. And, we hear about it all the time. So he was very lucky in comparison to others. And I think that what keeps him in the direction of good is the good that we've done.
I am going to get to the charity. Just one more of those questions.
No.
Just one more.
No, it's fine. I'm sorry I've been emotional.
What are you talking about?
I didn't intend to come on BBC London and blub, but
lots of people have said that. They say I'm intense. I'm not. I don't mean to be intense.
I think you're kind.
Okay, let's talk about charity, and I'm going to end on a slightly different question. But so Ollie says that you have to be a particular type of person to run with that, don't you?
Well, I've always been a very organised person. I had a big corporate job and did all of this at the side of that for a long time.
I'm looking for somebody to organise my life.
Oh yeah,
I might have a lot of time spare in a minute, so we should talk off air. So he says, "Mum, look, we've got a greater good and all of that." You look at him and think, "Jesus, you are my child. You are an amazing human being. We need to do something with this." Yeah. What do you do then?
So what I did was I went along to a local meeting, these sort of ward meetings in your borough, your council, and the police were there.
I've been to them.
No, they are really good.
Fantastic.
They are really interesting.
And I encourage as many
they
people.
They are really interesting.
It makes us sad, but they are great.
Well, the police were there telling everybody how safe it was in our ward, and I was like, hold on a minute, it's not safe around here. My son got shot in the face. So that was how it started. And then one of our local councillors, is a brilliant guy who's actually now one of our trustees, a guy called Gary Malcolm. He basically said to me, come and talk to me, took me to Ealing Council, put me in touch with the youth provision team, and they effectively helped me set up. And we went to our local church hall, and we said to the vicar, the church hall was like Vicar of Dibley stuff, and it was literally broken down. We went to him and said, we want to start a youth group. And he said, oh gosh, I'm a little bit embarrassed charging you. So took me to the church hall, and that's where it started. So with friends donated staff and
come on, tell us what it does. We need to do the happy stuff now.
So happy stuff. So we've had hundreds of kids going through our doors, and we have young people from every part of the community. So it's a lot of young people that are actually living normal lives in the community. It's a lot of young people who are coming through really challenged on the streets in the community. So we bring everybody together. So 11 to 19-year-olds, everything we do is free. So all free. We do a massive football. We've always been associated with football teams, league football teams. We have our own football teams on Friday. We're about to start a Friday night fives.
Have you done your badges yet?
Yeah, done my badges.
You've done your badges?
So Friday night fives, all the youth clubs in the local West London area, we've pulled them all together to do like a local youth club Friday night fives, which is brilliant. We bring people out of the community to work with us. So we've got one young coach who was in a load of trouble and came to see us and said, let me help you, help set up Pack Up. He's now a young coach, and he's said that we should develop a program so we can get other young people into our coaching programs. But the most important thing is that we give young people love and support and make them accountable. So they turn up.
And you occupy their time.
Oh, activities.
I mean, but the thing is, it's so obvious, right? It's so obvious. Yeah. And you know, we're talking about youth clubs closing down. I get bored, my listeners, with the idea libraries, pubs, clubs, church. They're these spaces, what I call community spaces, and absolutely we need to utilise them. I just wish it didn't come from austerity. You know, I wish it was this make a difference type stuff, which is what we do on this station. I wish it came from there, because I'm sorry, so sad what happened. Well, it happened, but look at the brilliantly positive things that have come out.
Yeah, and what we do, we want to bring young people back into the community. I think one of the things that's happened is young people have been separated from the community. In the old days, everybody knew who were the kids who were going through bad stuff, and they'd call them out. You know, the local police person,
your mum,
your auntie, your nan, whatever. They call them out and hold them accountable.
When you push them out of the village, you know what they want to do? They want to burn the village down.
Exactly, and it takes a village to make a child. And that's what we need to do.
Does he ever come and talk to them? Does he ever make a guest appearance?
He does make a guest appearance sometimes. And, you know, he's a lovable, an incredibly lovable human. And
no, I can't judge that, because he didn't come and see me, is he? If he comes and see me, I could make the judgment about whether he's a nice kid.
You'd love him.
No, we're not having that. Now you sound like Ella. Oh, yeah, this is going to be such... She said you were going to be a great guest and you've been rubbish.
I'll take the feedback.
How much of this have you done?
15 years we've been doing this.
No, interviews?
None.
Don't.
Never done one before.
Have you?
No.
How's it different to what you imagined?
I feel so relaxed, and that's why I blubbed a bit, because you made me feel relaxed and so good about telling the story. And I've wanted to tell the story for a long time. It's a horrible story. It's a nightmare story. But I wanted to tell it for so long because it's so relevant. And if we can just get people to realise it happens everywhere, and we need to come together as communities. You know, you individually, all you can do is take responsibility for you, your family and your local community. I can't change the world, but I can change me, my family, my local community. And that's what I want to do. Put the heart of the community back in community. I
want you to, I'll Make a Difference Awards next year. I want you to be one of our trends. It's the highest honour that I am able to offer in my tiny position. If anybody listening wants to help, wants to be assistants, wants to know more about what you do, what can they do?
Well, we're currently looking to expand the work we're doing. We want to get a bigger hub in our local park, and we need funding partners. We've got fabulous funding partners we've had in the past. So, you know, people like Awards for All, Garfield Weston, London Freemasons, they're all, you know, fabulous organisations that donate to us. But we need to expand our work, get a bigger hub, and we would love to hear from either people or companies who would like to become our funding partners.
And how would they reach out?
So if they come to w4youth.org.uk, they can find out more about
W
us.
And the number 4.
W4.
And youth, the letter.
Yeah, so w4youth.org.uk, and they can find all our information on there and how to contact us. And, you know, it would be lovely to hear from anybody who's interested in getting involved and helping us to develop things out.
Do you think that this good thing you're doing now, Sally, will make up for all the bad things you've done in your life?
I think you should ask my family that.
Right, now really quickly, because that big yellow monster behind you is going to press a button in a minute. The period stuff, you kept on nodding. Feed into that, please.
Yeah, I think it's a really key point. I think the mute conversation around things that girls go through is really wrong, both between girls but also between adults and their children. I mean, like you said, I knew nothing about it. I thought I was dying the day it happened to me. And I was only in primary school, sort of year 6 and 5th, I can't remember what year it was at that time. But, you know, I think it's a really key point, and supporting young women and young men through all of those phases is absolutely vital. And it's something, again, that we as community can do. It doesn't have to be just the parents.
That word community, eh?
But it's so...
Yeah, but I wish that people wouldn't only use the word community in trauma, because for me it's an incredibly positive thing. It's not a pejorative. It's a pleasure meeting you, and I appreciate you coming in very
Thank you so
much.
much.
Give my love to the boy.
I will do.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is BBC Radio.